out another outstanding year. We want to start 2023 off with the bang. The new GMC and Chevrolet inventory continues to roll in, and I'll actually be picking up my 2023 GMC later this month. So with interest rates continuing to climb, Koppel is partnering with General Motors and now offering 2.9% APR on select models. So we invite you to the dealership. Check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Hold up.
That's right. Welcome in another week of On the Block. Hope you had a great weekend. Big weekend in Husker athletics. We'll get to that. But welcome into On the Block, presented by Mary Ellen's. Huge shout out to Charles and the crew down there at 27th and Pine Lake. It's be a late lunch. Go pick it up now. If not, you can always stop in for supper. But again, huge shout out to Charles and the Mary Ellen's crew. He's Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA veteran Eric Strickland, who I get to meet in person for the first time. 9 shows, Strick. I finally get to shake your hand today. It is nice to officially meet you in person and see you.
Absolutely, Austin. Truly glad to be back in studio. I mean, it's a lot easier when we're looking across from each other, the energy and the vibe we're able to create. And so I'm glad to definitely be back. I'm not looking forward to the snow that's approaching. Obviously, that's something that's going to dawn on us soon. But I'm hoping sometimes it'll just miss us just by a little bit. So that way we don't get dumped on and poured on. Listen, still shout out. I mean, those folks that got pummeled in Buffalo, I'm still trying to, some of them are still probably recovering for a lot of that. But great weekend to start the NFL football season. I mean, I think there's no greater thing that started the ratings push than to have a super wild card weekend that happened on this weekend with some of the games and the way that they played out. Obviously, tonight's going to be an interesting one. I'm definitely looking forward to taking a look at that. We'll delve into that a little bit as well. So, yeah. It's a great start. Tough run for the Huskers as far as the men's basketball team. Tough loss also for the women against the number 1 rated team. And was it Ohio State?
Yeah, number 1, the last undefeated team in the Big Ten.
Yeah. So Huskers had a tough weekend, but good weekend for the most part, as far as the recruiting battles that are out there.
Let's start there with football. The biggest news, at least in my opinion, was Walter Rouse decommitting.
Yeah.
If you can lock down that left tackle spot, be solidified there, that makes everything easier across the line.
Facts.
It's the blind side. It's maybe not the most important position, depending how you judge center, but in terms of pass protection, there's a reason left tackles get the big bucks in the NFL, get the big NIL deals. Walter Rouse was committed, and then 3 days later backs out, says, nope, just kidding, I'm going to Oklahoma. I think the easy inclination would be to say, oh, he's getting more money from Oklahoma. Maybe that's the case. He hasn't said for sure what the deal was, why he changed his mind. Regardless of why it happened, that's a big loss for Nebraska. And that means either Teddy Prohaska, if he's healthy, is probably your left tackle. And if not that, you're trying Turner Corcoran again. We've seen those movies before.
Yeah.
So having someone with 39 career games played, 40 career games played at Stanford in that offense, that's a huge loss.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I think that, let's just first just get a good understanding of the difference. There's the transfer portal commitments. They don't have to sign an NLI. I didn't want to say NIL, an NLI. So therefore, until you get them on campus and get them in, there's still the possibility of getting clipped. And so, with this situation, I can imagine it going down something like this. And look, this is all speculation. This is nothing that we know because he has not spoken about this situation. But here's how it can work, right? Stuff is on the table, very comfortable with the conversation, the vision, what you're laying out, the opportunity that lays in front of you. You know that there's basically an open door for you to step right in on day one. And then maybe it was a little short on money on one end. And so, yeah, you can imagine making the move for that. And then you come in and say, not only are we going to up the money, but, why would you go to Nebraska? Think about
what have they done recently?
Yeah. Who have they put in other than Cam Jurgens? But Raiola wasn't on that one.
Right.
So now you're having a conversation with this young man who has aspiration, obviously, of going to the next level. And so in that conversation, you're like, well, you're always gonna downplay Oklahoma. I mean Nebraska. Yeah, they're a rivalry. We beat the brakes off of them this year. Why would you want to go there? We're up and coming. We're emerging. We're in this conference. Look who we put in. Those are those conversations. And then all of a sudden, you start pulling at heartstrings, and then potentially, and again, this is alleged, this is not something we know, but I can see how it happens in this type of decision-making process.
Absolutely. This is one that, until I'm told otherwise, I'm going to credit Brent Venables and his staff for having that energy and just tugging on those right heartstrings. Like you said, don't want to say the kid's in it for the wrong reasons, because he does have his own future to look out for.
Yeah.
The good news, or the potentially good news. We'll start with Xavier Betts. He was not on the team last season. Last week, he entered his name in the NCAA transfer portal. And then all of a sudden over the weekend, we get the news that he's coming back to Nebraska. Now, Strick, this is where you get to toot your own horn. You get to tell people what you were saying all along. You saw this one coming. Not a lot of people did.
Yeah. The conversation was thrown out there. A lot of people began to come from the angle, Austin, of why would the wide receiver room want him back? Why would they, he quit on the team? Look, all the things that they were saying, I understood. But then I also remembered what Rule said. I understand what he's trying to accomplish. I understand how he's trying to dominate not only the region, but the state. I understood that he didn't want guys just bailing. You've got a proven commodity, somebody who has been in the room, who has had some success. You're light in the wide receiver room after some of the losses. And so therefore I can see an approach of having a discussion with the young man, getting an understanding, a little bit more depth as to why he kind of felt the way he felt. Could it have been a Mickey Joseph situation where you just didn't vibe with the coach and now the coach is no longer there? And so the opportunity opens up. This is a young and emerging coach. You get a fresh new look, fresh blood, fresh eyes on you to come in.
Fresh opportunity.
A fresh opportunity. And so then there's probably a discussion about character and different things, because that's one of the things that Coach Rule said that he wanted. So I'm sure they probably had a discussion and a breakdown on that. And then you begin to say, this kid could also have a great impact in helping us, because we're still an unknown and a wide receiver one.
Exactly.
So open the door for everybody. And listen, I'm sure he had the same conversation with Isaiah Garcia Castaneda. So those same conversations, that would probably lead a young man who think he didn't really get an opportunity with what was brought into the system. When obviously when Coach Mickey Joseph came, he came with an idea, with a framework, and with guys that he was comfortable and was familiar with, and therefore now that's not necessarily the case. It's pretty much an open room.
Right. I'm glad you brought up that whole wide receiver one conversation. Xavier Betts looks the part physically.
Yeah.
He's got the speed to do it. Opposite him, you like Marcus Washington. Those are two very similar guys outside.
Yeah.
Besides those two guys, there's not a lot of height in that receiver room.
Yeah.
Billy Kemp, less than 6 foot tall. Josh Fleek's not 6 foot tall. Anyone else that is entirely unproven.
Yeah.
Hasn't played before. So having two guys that can run outside that you can use in a couple different ways and that have played college football before will be huge. I think being able to have those layers with Washington. Most likely Betts now on the other side. Garcia Castaneda is a fascinating one to me. He was the first guy we saw against Northwestern. He caught that perfect pass from Casey Thompson to open the season scoring.
Yeah.
Great throw, great catch. And then was hit or miss.
Yeah.
Only played in like the next 3
weird.
games,
He just
snaps here and there.
Yeah.
Didn't get a whole lot from him. Entered his name in the transfer portal. We think that saga's all done and over with. But again, now he's back. Reeled back in. What does he bring? Given that he was gone, he started the season, then he's gone. Now he's back. Is it similar to Betts? Is it a different kind of situation? How if you're in the locker room, how do you take those two guys in that room?
No, like I'm saying, I think there's a way to understand and to have a discussion with your teammates and brothers in arms. And when you go in there, you can have a discussion and kind of open the door to the conversation of what it is that I was feeling and why I was feeling the way that I was feeling. No, I didn't quit on you. I just felt that I wasn't given this opportunity, so forth and so on. And so I wanted to look for a better place that maybe suited my needs. Now, as far as Isaiah Garcia Castaneda, I think he reminds me a little bit of Samar Toure.
Sure.
In ways, not to say that he is that. I don't know if he can blow the top off a little bit like Samari, but I think that with a little coaching up, his route running can be tremendous. He seems to thrive in crossings and digs or slight maybe some slants. I don't know what his releases is like. I didn't get enough eyes on him to see what his releases are like, but I think in the slot he could be a good piece in there.
I think there's a few different layers of this. You have Washington and Betts outside with that
Yeah.
vertical element, which is
Yeah.
big. You
They
have
can blow it off.
They can't. You have Kemp and Fleeks underneath, kind of yards after the catch type of guys.
Yeah.
And then if Garcia Castaneda can be that kind of intermediate safety blanket, that's another element that I don't see in this
Yeah.
wide receiver room with Isaiah Garcia Castaneda gone.
Yeah, and that's what you're missing from Vokalek.
Yes, absolutely.
That part, what you just said,
Yep.
there's no one yet. I think there was another addition, and his name is blowing me right now. A guy that they're interested in the tight end position. I think is going to be coming on campus this week. They're just trying to add extra layers and bodies.
That tight end room needs some help
They
now.
need some help.
It does.
They really do. And dang it, my mind is drawing a blank on who that is. I just had it too. That's that age, Austin. I mean, you get up there in age and you start remembering stuff and start kind of blanking on a few things.
Well, this staff is bringing so many guys in. It's hard to keep track.
Man, I like the linebacker that we were just talking about also.
That's where I was going to go next with MJ Sherman.
MJ Sherman.
5-star recruit from
Yeah.
Georgia. My head tells me not to get the expectations, blown out of the water because we saw Stephon Wynn and Kane Williams come in from Alabama, another championship program.
Didn't
Williams
really do it to me. Yeah.
Wynn was at least on the field.
Yeah.
Didn't make a huge impact.
Yeah.
But again, he's a defensive tackle. Kane Williams is in a loaded defensive back room. MJ Sherman steps into a linebacker room that can always use more athleticism. They can always use more juice rushing the passer. So maybe, just maybe, he's the guy.
And I think too, Austin, I was expecting a little bit more out of O'Shawn Mathis.
Yes.
That's another one too.
Same.
So, I can only imagine how sick he is right now. Like you left and the team ends up going into the college football playoff championship game, and that's something that's crazy to me. But that's part of this NIL situation. Guys break or think they're going to break for greener pastures, and it ends up not being that being the situation. Now, there's one of interest to me that talking to my brother in arms, Clester Johnson, who will be joining us on the on the Honda Lincoln Hotline shortly. Thomas Fedone, what do we know about him? And that's just
we know he's had 2 knee
unknown.
surgeries. That's all we know.
There's
That's
a lot
it.
of unknown. There's nothing that that kind of a caliber. If you can get him to come back, not much tape on him, but he comes back with great strength and speed and doing what we thought he could have been for that tight end room. That could be a good sneaky little emergence if it can come to light. we'll know. We don't know though.
It could. On that Sartor Heyman text line, Matt says, Strick, if you're thinking of that tight end transfer from Georgia, he committed somewhere else. So will not be coming to Lincoln.
Okay.
I forget the name, but there's that.
Thank you guys. Always.
And then Steve drops the ball on the text line as well, says, I don't know if you've discussed, who do you see playing fullback? Steve, I don't know. And that's the fascinating part.
Yeah.
EJ Barthel played fullback. He says he knows what one looks like. Didn't give any names away for ideas. I've seen Gabe Ervin floated out there. I've seen Nate Borkacher floated out there. Or maybe they go find a guy and sign him. You do still have the February signing day. That is still around. That's still a thing. My guess is that they haven't identified anyone on the roster yet. They might not even in spring ball. But right now, I don't know if I would point to a clear cut, this is the guy you need to have at fullback. If they're actually even going to use one, and that wasn't just red meat tossed to fans.
Hey, listen, I wouldn't mind a nice athletic kind of linebacker. I wouldn't mind somebody's just a freaking man. We used to have great freaking fullbacks. Did we not?
Year after year.
Man.
It's before my time, but I know the names.
Yeah. One of my good friends, Doak Ostergaard, he was one of our trainers when I was playing here for the Huskers. Great Husker faithful, been around a long time, has done tremendous things. He threw out this question in Sauter Heyman text line. You can always help us at 402-464-5685. He said, isn't there more than one tight end leaving Georgia? And so that's something to also throw out there is the possibility of that. They had two good ones, Washington and Brock Bowers. Those two were phenomenal for that team. I would sure love to have one like that. And that's another thing. How did we let like a Noah Fant get out of Nebraska? That's the one that those ones that you look up at the end of the day and they break your heart is wondering. And I'm glad to see that Rule and this crew is getting back to those types of things, of really honing in and securing the
best talent in the state
here.
Has to stay here.
It's got to
plain
stay.
and simple. Plain and simple.
That's your foundation, Austin.
It has to be, doesn't it?
You know what I mean? I mean, I've always said the same thing about basketball. It's your foundation. Like I tell people when we played, I know we've got to go to break, and we'll get to that in 1 second. But I tell people, they always, when they talk about our time of being here as Huskers, one of the things they bring up is just that there was so much talent and this and that. Yes, there was, because we had Badgett and me and Jason Glock and Chad Ideas and Andy Markowski. Look, even though that some of them didn't have the type of impact that you would think, or even like myself, they still were an integral part, because what we did in practice, that unity, they bled it, they loved it, they gave their all for it. You need that.
They were still there. They didn't go somewhere else. They were still there. They were still part of that pipeline.
Part of it, right? And so I love that fact that they're getting back to that, because those are building block components that you can use in order to stabilize your programs, not necessarily make it go through the roof. You still got to go out there and get those, right? But stabilize your program.
Absolutely. I'll do it for segment one here on the block. We continue the football conversation. The man himself, Clester Johnson, joins us on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. We'll talk to Clester after this.
Life-changing research doesn't just take place in outer space. It's also happening right here in Nebraska, and you could play a key role. Solarion, one of the world's leading clinical research organizations, needs healthy adults who are 19 years old and older for a research opportunity. If you qualify, you could earn up to $500 a day for time and travel. Overnight stays may be required. To learn more, call Solarion at 866-213-2965 or visit helpresearch.com/500.
Vershawn Jackson, the captain here for The Body Shop. And man, did they hook me up with a great massage recently. The captain has a lot of stress in his life, as many people do. And for 1 hour, it was all relieved. The team at The Body Shop gave me a deep tissue massage that hit every area that I was in pain at. Whether you're looking for a Swedish massage, sports massage, deep tissue, hot stone, aroma, or more, there's only one place to go. The Body Shop at 48th NA. Book an appointment today at The Body Shop Lincoln
The Ticket Water Cooler.
Walter Rouse committing to Oklahoma just days after committing to Nebraska. This was one that particularly hurts me because I completely bought in. I was like, this is the best transfer portal edition.
Yeah, that one stung a lot more than really any other because it gave you hope.
We'll just have to learn our lessons. There are no losses, just lessons. And as a Husker football fan, we're just going to have to learn from this one. Maybe not to get too excited from the transfer portal. Another news, great news out of the transfer portal. MJ Sherman has arrived to Nebraska.
Tractor Supply is looking for full-time team members for their Waverly Distribution Center. Tractor Supply has a new progressive pay model where team members receive 5 wage increases in the first 2 years of employment with the ability to earn up to $24 per hour. Applicants can expect a 3- and 4-day work week schedule with additional overtime days with both day and night shift schedules available. At Tractor Supply, they work hard, have fun, and make money. Apply today at tractorsupply.jobs.
Start planning for the 2023 deer season at the Nebraska Deer and Game Expo. Join us Friday, January 20th through Sunday, January 22nd at the Lancaster Event Center in Lincoln. There are informative hunting seminars, a blind giveaway, hunting and outdoor exhibitors, a big buck and monster shed contest, 3D shoot, and a whole lot more. Veteran owned and operated. Get your tickets at NebraskaDeerAndGameExpo.com. The Nebraska Deer and Game Expo, January 20th through 22nd at the Lancaster Event Center in Lincoln. Presented by Whitetail Properties Real Estate.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We on a world tour with my man. Don't let you have a taste of the mic in your hand. We on a world tour with my man. Don't let you have a taste of the mic in your
Yeah. We're back. It is Monday. Manic Monday. Super wild card. Oh my gosh, it was so good, Austin. Oh,
fantastic football.
Man, listen, I enjoyed every bit of that, every moment. Loved how the quarterback stepped up. Some of those quarterbacks was true to form, i.e. your boy, Kirk Cousins. We know we've got some Vikings fans on here. I'm sorry they did achy break your heart. I know that the Cowboys are coming up. They're not my team, but I've been rooting for them every time. I've been listening to Jerry Jones and the crew tell me every year, similar to what Scott Frost in the groups and every coach that came in here used to give us that coach speak. But God darn it, it's on tonight. Who's going to prevail? Tom Brady hasn't lost to the Cowboys.
7-0.
So let's see what it's going to do. But in the meantime, in between time, we do have on this Honda Lincoln hotline, my guy, your guy, Clester Johnson, 2-time national champion for the Huskers, always joins us usually on Monday to talk a little bit about football, life issues, things, and he can talk a little bit about hoop. He's well versed in sports. Sebo, Clester Johnson, I call him Sebo. You call him Sebo.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's up, my guy? It's good to have you on the line today. How are you?
Well, like I said, the sun shines on every dog's gluteus maximus, and right now the sun is shining on me. Open it up. Ask me what you want.
Yes, sir. Let's get it started. First and foremost, the Seattle Seahawks found themselves doing what they needed to do, winning every game they needed to win, and pressed their way through to a playoff berth. In the end of the season, your son, Cade Overlooked.com Johnson, found himself getting activated and making a little bit of impact out there. And it was good to see number 88 out there, especially in a playoff game. That's always great to see. Put up, got some catches, got some targets, and made it happen. So let's quickly talk about that. Were the Seahawks, do you think, overmatched in this particular instance, or do you think it just, you kind of just ran into a buzzsaw of a team and just kind of came up short?
Well, I would say this year for the Seahawks, nothing but a positive situation because they lost Russell Wilson and nobody in America thought that the Seahawks would make the playoffs, let alone even win 9 games. So I think what happened was very unexpected. It just goes to show you the the genius of Pete Carroll.
One of the greatest coaches out there right now. I mean, look, you say what you will about Pete Carroll, but yes, sir. You know, they were able to get it done, him and his staff. I mean, that, like you said, that was so unexpected for them to get in there. And he doesn't get the credit I don't think that he deserves. So you're right, Class. Go ahead.
Yes. And in regards to Cade, again, this is just part of Cade's story. Always pretty much been overlooked, underlooked, sideways looked. A lot of it has to do with the fact that today's society, especially in sports, is about measurables. You know, something that you had no issues with, Strick. You was a man child in sixth grade. The only sixth grader I know in the state of Nebraska that could have played varsity. But that's besides the point. What I want to say is Cade Johnson makes the most of his opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, we talk before every game. Sometimes he FaceTime me while he out on the field because I motivate him. I try to motivate him and give him positive things to look at. You know, you got to know what to say. You got to know what to say. And you got to make sure you keep it short and sweet. And that's what we do. That's why he calls me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm like Bodini Brown to Muhammad Ali with Cade. You know, I'm always in his ear, just popping off, getting him fired up, just reminding him of his story and how he's creating it right now. And the good thing about Cade, the number one thing I say about Cade is he is not afraid of the moment. There's a lot of people that their butts just get real tight in some of these situations. And that's just not what he does. He sees these moments, and I think he will have a positive outcome based on what he was able to do in the playoffs.
So
and at the end of the season.
So with that in mind, real there's a kind of a two-part question. Of the boys, the Johnson boys all had tremendous success there at Bellevue West. Here locally, they got most of them outside of Keegan got passed over. I would be remiss in saying if they missed this next one with Kai Johnson. You keep your eye on Kai Johnson. He's on the way, baby. You better keep your eye on him. And if you miss this next one, you're doing yourself a disservice. But I don't think if Matt Rule's around, that would happen. But nonetheless, with that, of the boys, Cade Johnson, what's his like competitiveness like compared to CJ and compared to Keegan? It's like, to me, when watching him grow up, it's like he never wants to let you win. Like that's what I saw with him. Now that's one part. Now, do you think he has the ability to stay there, or are you open to looking at multiple opportunities in moving in his next opportunity that presents?
Well, just a little insight on that situation. Cade, myself, and Cade's agent, we all have a little group chat, and we go back and forth all the time, and just we talk about the pros and the cons. And I think for Cade, the best situation for him right now is just to, just stay settled where he is. I think the Seahawks have really invested in him and developed him in that system. And they're really giving him a chance. He's an undrafted free agent, and they're just really giving him a chance. So I think for him to just stay there and continue to just do what he's doing, there's no need for him to test the market right now. I mean, they are really doing what they said they were going to do when they brought him in. What a lot of people have issues with is just taking their time and letting it develop into what it's going to be. A lot of people want it right now. They want satisfaction right away. Mm-hmm. And, this has been a 2-year process. It's finally starting to transpire. And I think for him, you will see great results come next year.
Cluster, you talk about, waiting for your time and not having it given to you right away. One guy that I think really embodies that on that Seahawks team is the guy throwing the ball to Cade, Geno Smith. As far as he had to come and do his waiting, had his moment, step back out, ends up in Seattle. What is Cade taking away from being able to work with Geno and seeing his journey?
Well, they have two Pro Bowlers. Okay, they got Tyler Lockett and they got DK Metcalf.
Mm-hmm.
And in a situation like that, you have to be quiet, do your job. Okay, be quiet, do your job, work hard, point out, maybe some things here and there, just to let them know that you're in tune, you know what's going on, you're smart, be reliable, stay ready. And so that's the thing about a number 3. You just never know when you're going to get the ball, because really they're looking at 1 and 2.
Yeah.
That's where your money is made, at 1 and 2. But number 3, like you can see, when they do these 2-minute drills, I mean, he's just looking for who's open. And I think Cade again was able to show that when you get him the ball, he's going to catch it and he's going to get open.
He's reliable. And you know who that reminds me of? How their career kind of started in a way, not necessarily being an undrafted free agent, and I could be wrong, but I don't think he was. But Julian Edelman was like that type of guy. Like, he didn't start off as, that number 1 looking, that guy just kind of got in there and ran his routes and found it and got trust with Tom Brady. And then the next thing you know, he becomes a freaking unstoppable all-pro. Yeah. So I think that, you like you're saying, just do your job, step up, come ready, and when the time comes, make it happen.
Well, I think the thing that really kind of helps Cade is Russell Wilson was there last year, and Geno was the backup, and Geno was the scout team quarterback. And him and Cade, they had a lot of chemistry.
Yeah.
So I know Geno feels very comfortable throwing it to Cade, but I just think he also knows, being the starter, that DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are the guys that these plays are pretty much designed for. So, you got to go 1-2 first, or, 2-1. And then if that's not open, if that line is holding up long enough, then you go to 3. So that's usually how it works. I did hear you guys, just to transition a little bit, I did hear you guys talk a little bit about Xavier Betts, and I do have a little bit of knowledge of that.
Break it down.
If you would like to.
Once again, Cluster Johnson, 2-time national champion, joining us on the block once again. We were talking playoffs. We're going to transition and talk a little bit about Xavier Betts, who is looking to return back to the Husker wide receiver room. Go ahead.
Now, let's tell the listening audience, along with your co-host, what a lot of people don't know about Xavier Betts. Now, here's what you don't know. Number 1, some of the people out here don't know that he went to Bellevue West, one of the greatest high schools in Nebraska, especially in regards to receivers. And the guy who's on the radio hosting y'all today was receiver number 1 at Bellevue West. He's going to be the all-time greatest receiver of all time at Bellevue West. That's Eric Strickland. Now, Xavier's uncle, David Carter, played with Strickland and I at Bellevue West.
Yeah.
He was the backup quarterback to Cluster Johnson and the starter free safety at Bellevue West. Now, a lot of people don't know that Xavier and David are obviously very close. And I got a call from David a while ago, hearing about what was about to transpire. I just pretty much kept my mouth closed because I'm not going to disclose that information. But they talked to me about Xavier and some of the moves he should make and what would be my advice. And I just kind of threw some things out there. And I think that Xavier is doing the right thing. Going back and trying to finish this thing and getting better. It's almost like a new beginning for him. It seems like Coach Matt Rule is the type of coach who can come in and restart your program and get players on the right track. And I think that Xavier is looking like, since he's been gone, he's had an awakening. Because, sometimes these kids out here, they think that the grass is greener.
Come on.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And, he was able to get out in the world and kind of find out that, hey, listen, you actually had it good, young fella. And maybe I should go back in here and not take this thing for granted and really show the world what I can do and buckle down and handle my business. So I'm really looking forward to Xavier. Hopefully he just gets in there, gets his mind right, and does the right thing.
Absolutely, we do wish him well. It's wide open. I mean, there's not an established wide receiver one. Trey Palmer has entered his name into the draft. Where he's slated or where he may fall to or whatever the situation. I don't know if he's acquired an agent yet, but he probably would have the possibility of a return. But that may be a little bit unlikely now that one of his greatest advocates, Mickey Joseph, is no longer with the team. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see where that goes. But it's wide open. Who's going to take it? Who's going to take the mantle, or who's going to take it by the reins and really take over that opportunity that's now presented that Trey Palmer once held. So we'll see, Class, man. I'm thank you for the insight, and shout out to David Carter. We got love for the safety that used to come up and lay some hack with his glasses on and all of that.
Yeah.
He used to do a little something, couple interceptions here and there.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He had the bifocals, but he would knock your block off.
Yeah, and real quick before we go to break, we are going to go to break real quick, but Class, I just remembered this part because it was just absolutely funny. We did a lot of two-way playing. They don't do a lot of two-way back then. So, I used to play safety, and a lot of people don't know that. And that's why I told them I'd probably play safety if I continued to play football as opposed to receiver. But as a safety, I used to come up and make all the freaking tackles. And so they were like, wait a minute, we can't freaking have – tell that story real quick of how Coach made the change to move me up to linebacker. You remember
Yes,
it?
sir. Listen, again, there's only a few players that I've seen in my lifetime that no matter what they did, they ended up being like one of the best. And definitely shout out to E. Streezy. And also shout out to head coach for Creighton Prep. What's his name? Josh Lukey. Lukey. Josh Lukey, if you're listening, somebody send them this. Just remember, they won the state title, but their only loss was to Bellevue West in high school football.
Facts.
And my man E. Strick put one of their best players out of the game. Thank you very much, E.
On their sideline. Oh, yeah.
On their sideline.
Right in front of them. The story has been told that the hit that I put on him, the whole sideline heard him just say, oh, and just did not come off the bench after that. So see, those who are listening, Stricky used to lay some wood. Now don't get it twisted. I come out there and put a little woo on you, little woo.
I can testify. He laid the woo on him. Yes, he did. Hey, Eric, does people know what the woo means?
I don't think they know what that. I don't think they know what the woo is, man. I don't know if they may think if we talking about Wu-Tang Clan. We ain't talking about Wu-Tang.
Can I tell them what the woo means?
Tell them what the woo means.
When you lay a lick on somebody so hard, the whole crowd goes
woo.
Woo. That's it.
We love you here on the block, Class. Thank you for always joining us, man, with some great insight and just some wonderful laughter, some backstories that you have. We're gonna take a break, man. We'll hopefully see you next Monday if we get a chance to talk to you, talk a little bit about what's going on with the playoffs, a little bit more in depth as well.
Yes, sir, my brother.
All right, Cluster Johnson, 2-time national championship, joining us on the block. We got to take a quick break right now. We'll be right back after a few messages. This is 93.7 The Ticket. You are on the block, and we'll be right back.
This is Megan Whitaker from the Nebraska golf team. If you've put your clubs away for the winter, it's time to get them back out. There's no need to stop thanks to Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle is home to Lincoln's best indoor golf simulators. It's perfect for every level of golfer, with everything from casual games for the kids, hyper-realistic simulations of some of the best courses in the world. And the best part, no matter what the weather's doing outside, it's always golf weather inside. See for yourself. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just list some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Here's the real question. was we portrayed by Rouse, by him saying all of that stuff. You know, got haters and that's what he said.
He came in loud.
We got doubters. We got haters.
Yeah, like he's part of Nebraska.
That's what he said, Terrell. Here's my question. What happened? That to me is a gutless turd movie. So you don't come in, Terrell, we about to put it, we doing this. Oh, by the way, I'm going to Oklahoma. Go to your arch enemy.
A new year means new goals and upgrading, but that doesn't only apply to health and fitness. Mullen Motors can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2023 started off the right way. They cleared 22 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Lake.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
I wanted to quit for so long, but I didn't know where to start.
I was afraid of what people would think. To start my recovery journey. 1 in 14 Americans reports experiencing a substance use disorder, a treatable medical condition. Treatment can take many forms, so there are a variety of options to explore and find the one that works best for you. Recovering drug addiction is possible.
Paid for by the CDC, sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rolling right along here on the block. He's Eric Strickland. I am Austin Orman. You didn't have the open, but it is time to play the shootout with Strick. So if you would like to play that, your chance for $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. You can call the Honda of Lincoln hotline 402-464-5685 to play the shootout with Strick. Talking some college basketball, a fascinating weekend across the country, East Coast to West Coast, North border to South border. A lot going on in college basketball, Strick. A lot of movement in the polls. We didn't touch on it a whole lot.
Real quick, who's been most disappointing aspect of what you may have thought coming in had a better chance? Who to you has been the most disappointing thus far?
The one I'm most thankful has been disappointing is Creighton.
Yeah, you know what?
Those guys are bad.
That has been a surprise. I would say that was a surprise. I think to me, one of the biggest disappointments so far has been North Carolina.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm happy about that one, but yeah.
You pretty much got you've got Caleb Love back and
RJ Davis back, Armando Bacot back.
I mean, you had pretty much a good portion.
That was your group from last year,
basically. So that's been a big disappointment for me. But it goes to show you just how quickly things can shift at the college game, and what are guys really playing for? Are they playing for Jordan Brands? Or are they? I'm just throwing it out. Okay, go ahead.
We didn't get a chance to touch on it in the first segment. We'll do it here while we wait for a caller to play shootout with Strick. 402-464-5685. Your chance for $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Disappointing game from Nebraska basketball on the road at Mackey Arena. Yeah. Still never won on the road in West Lafayette. You're down 2 starters. We knew Juwan Gary was out. Late breaking news that Sam Griesel was out with a hip injury.
Yeah.
That was always going to be, a tough road to hoe at that point. So Nebraska fought in the first half. Purdue had that little run at the end to push it to 11. But Nebraska stayed at least within striking distance.
Yeah.
I think they just ran out of gas.
They just ran out of gas. They just didn't really have the depth. But you got to love that freaking Derek Walker is working out. I think I tweeted, I said, feed me, Seymour. Give that man the rock. That man is working out. He's doing some grown man things out there. He is a grown man, but nonetheless, he's doing some grown man things. Good to see Tamanaga, coming out of his shell. I still think they need to figure out what they're going to do as far as maybe the addition of Jamarcus Russ. I mean, not Russ.
Lawrence.
Yeah. Right? Lawrence, and then, whether you're going to input them, or Breidenbach, you got to figure out something because they need to make a move. And I just don't think Wiltshire right now, I think he maybe needs to take a look and just maybe put too much pressure on himself. It's kind of odd right now.
Do you swap in Tominaga for Wiltshire in the starting lineup?
You need something to come off
something
the bench.
Different. Maybe.
It could be.
I don't know.
It could be. I just don't know if they like, the matchups coming out to start the game, but we'll see. I don't know. It's tough to understand it fully.
Right. We're still looking for a competitor for Strick here for the shootout. 402-464-5685.
It's okay. Stricky is always okay with taking the Strick.
I know you're okay. I put in work on these questions, Strick. I'm working hard every morning. You put these questions together. I don't want them to go to waste, plain and simple. As we wait back on Nebraska basketball. So Denham Dawson, Wilhelm Breidenbach step into the starting lineup. As I look at those options, Wilhelm has more of an offensive game, I think, than Denham Dawson does.
Yeah.
But he still needs somebody to create for him. Sam Griesel's done a lot of the creating. Emmanuel Bandamel hasn't all that much. It was always going to be tough for Nebraska to outscore Purdue, which is a bummer because I was with you where I think Nebraska's best chance was to open it up and run with Denham Dawson as an athlete, with Breidenbach's foot speed advantage over Edey. Never really got to do it in the first half. It was a slow first half. A lot of fouls, really choppy again. And then you run out of gas in the second half.
Second half, you go. They get on a 7-0 run on you, and you're behind the 8 ball. Their freshmen showed up.
They did.
Their freshmen showed up, and they're doing what we hope they can do. But again, it comes down to Nebraska doesn't have somebody to create space. Derek Walker, if he's your freaking leading assist guy, that's just trouble.
It's impressive because he's a good passer, but shouldn't be as a big man. We do have a competitor here for the shootout with Strick. We go to the Honda of Lincoln hotline. We welcome in Clinton. Clinton, are you with us here?
I am.
All right. Have you played the shootout before, or do you need the rules?
I have not played, but I know the rules.
Okay, well, we will skip the rules then. We will get right into Strick's questions then. We're looking at college basketball and the AP poll. Strick, are you ready?
I think I am.
All right. With that, the shootout begins here in 3, 2, and 1. They remained at number 1 in this week's poll. Houston or Kansas?
Houston.
Yep. They dropped 4 spots to number 9. Arizona or Tennessee?
Arizona.
Yep, Tennessee. They're the highest-ranked ACC team. Miami or Virginia?
Miami.
Nope, Virginia. They dropped the most spots of any team this week. Arkansas or UConn?
UConn.
Arkansas. They're the only undefeated team left in the ACC.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
North Carolina State.
It is not North Carolina State. It is Clemson. The Tigers, 7-0 in conference play.
Sheesh. I just wanted to give away the Stricken today, Clinton. You don't even you can stumble into the Stricken today.
Well, good for you. I don't know college basketball.
Oh, there's a chance then. So you say there's a chance.
There's a chance.
All right.
1 point for Strick. So, Quentin, you got to get 2 points to win. 1 would send you to a tiebreaker, or 0 will give the chicken away. Are you ready, Clinton?
Yeah.
All right. Shootout begins in 3, 2, and 1. They remained at number 4 in this week's poll. Alabama or UCLA?
UCLA.
Nope, it's Bama. They rose 5 spots this week despite a loss. Providence or Marquette?
Providence.
Nope, Marquette. They're the highest-ranked Big East team. Xavier or UConn?
UConn.
Nope, Xavier. They entered the rankings for the first time in school history today. Florida Atlantic or Charleston?
Charleston.
Nope, you need this one. They received the most votes of any team not in this week's poll.
I don't even have
Strick's running around. He's up against the wall. Back against the wall. Strick, you survive.
So you say I have a chance?
I felt bad for you, Strick.
Oh, well, I thank you.
Play against you.
Clinton, I thank you. Come back and do it again. I maybe feel bad for you and let the Stricken get one.
Quentin, Quentin, thanks for playing. Your chance to win isn't done yet. Right now, we will give the $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings away to caller number 3 at 402-464-5685.
I'm the champ now, right?
Is that 3 in a row?
I don't know. Is it? It's close. I don't know.
We'll have to go back and check the tape.
I know
We'll
it's
check the
2.
tape.
I know it's 2.
Okay, so 2. Well, you're the champ tomorrow.
Yeah, if I win tomorrow.
When you win tomorrow.
When I win
When you win tomorrow.
Let's speak positively.
Yes, when you win tomorrow.
Yeah, when the Huskers
Champ's
win.
going to show up.
When the Huskers win 7 games next year.
Absolutely.
We're going to speak life into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny you said NC State. They were the team that received the most votes of any unranked team. Their
I
team
said it.
26. Wrong question. You would have had it, Strick. You're right
That's
there.
all right. But it's fun, man. I'm good. I feel great.
Good.
Gotta
Then,
win.
then the tiebreaker just for fun.
Break it down.
Crazy weekend
Good.
in the top 25.
Okay.
How many teams ranked in the top 25 lost on Saturday and Sunday?
7.
12.
Really?
12 teams in the top 25 lost.
Ooh, it's ugly.
I think 3 or 4 of those were ranked on ranked matchups.
Is it a New Year's curse? Is it a New Year's curse?
It's a who wants to be good
gosh.
curse.
Well, you know what? Let's break that down because I know we got to take a break. We got to get out of here. But listen, what that is, Austin, possibly, is they're not in school.
Sure.
They're just now.
Sure.
We're going to start going back. I think maybe some of them this week. So being not in school, maybe they got a lot of time on their hands. Maybe they're doing a lot of Kyler Murray and
I wouldn't blame them.
A lot of PlayStation.
What was that like for you after Christmas break? What's that mindset like as an athlete?
Man.
Classes are done. All you have is basketball, but you go home. What's that time of your life?
You got to force yourself into it, bro. You got to but see, my mentality was always thinking professionally.
Sure.
So I
Mm-hmm.
So I always was thinking, how would a pro respond? How does a pro get himself ready? How does a pro, prepare for what's next? And so that's kind of what helped me through.
Was that on you, or what was Coach Nee like during that time?
Solid. I mean, Coach Nee always, he wanted us to make sure we stayed out of trouble. He wanted us to make sure that we worked our tail off, made it, get in the weight room, do things like that. And those are things that I definitely try to do.
There you go. Well, that'll do it for hour 1 here on the block. Super wild card weekend.
Let's talk about
a
it.
Good one. We're going to dive into that. May or may not touch base with Brian Munson at 3:30, but coming up after these short messages, we're getting into NFL wild card weekend. On the block, hour 2 comes your way next.
Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you are a loved one or struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
People first is more than a nice sentiment. At American Senior Benefits, it's the mission. If you're ready for a career where you can truly put your customers' needs ahead of everything else, this is for you. American Senior Benefits is one of the leading senior market insurance product distributors in the country, and they're looking for high-energy applicants with strong communication skills. Enjoy on-the-job training, a fun work environment, and unlimited income potential. Visit asbmidwest.com to learn more. American Senior Benefits.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. It doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for 3! And you're going to go out and tournament champion.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome back on the block. Eastrick here, joined with my partner, Austin Arman. We are just going to get into it, man. We're not even going to hesitate. This is just, first of all, tonight it continues with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home with a horrible record of 8-9. I don't know how they managed to pull that off. But the Cowboys coming in at 12-5 with a great defense, been up and down. Dak Prescott is kind of, well, I'm not going to say he's looking like your boy, Kirk Cousins, but he has his moments where he just looks like he doesn't belong. But we're not going to go into that one right now. We'll talk about it a little bit, but we're going to talk about what has transpired over this wonderful, what do they call it?
Super wild card
weekend, man. Look, I was intrigued by some of the matchups, and they didn't disappoint. Let's first get into this one. Let's first get into the Brock Purdy.
Woo.
Are you freaking kidding me right now? If you don't love that story, then you don't love sports and you don't love football. And it could be one of the greatest stories of the year. This man, last picked person. So there's two of them now. Thompson was also in that late grouping.
7th round, yep.
But Brock Purdy goes 18 for 30 for 332 and 3 TDs. Woo! Come on, somebody. And he used his feet in some instances where I was like, I didn't know he had, I knew he could do something, but I didn't know he was fleet-footed like that. And 41-23 win against, DK Metcalf and, that crew did what they were supposed to do as far as trying to, make it interesting. DK Metcalf goes for 10 for 126 and 2 TDs. He had a game, but Geno just wasn't able to get it done in totality. I mean, his QBR was, right at 66, whereas Brock Purdy was at freaking 90.
90.
Look, he played, if anybody's expectations of how he played, and when you look at Jimmy Garoppolo and what he was able to do, you have confidence now, looking at this team, that it is a possibility with their defense. And look, the greatest steal of the year was Christian McCaffrey. I don't care what anybody says.
Theft.
It was a highway robbery what they did to Carolina Panthers. So you look at that situation, you look at them coming in. Tell me about your thoughts for that game.
Very cool story. Big shout out to Brock Purdy, playing better in the NFL than he ever did in college.
Better than Chuba.
Better than Chuba.
Oh,
yes.
I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, both. You didn't have to say the quiet part out loud, but we did. It's true. Brock will have a longer NFL career than his brother. We're going to put that on record.
On
right
record.
Now. Great story. But as much as it's about Brock Purdy, stepping up when his number was called, being third string guy, Mr. Irrelevant, a lot of it goes to Kyle Shanahan. For scheming things up to put him in positions to succeed. Playing to those strengths.
Yeah.
But some of it's on the Seahawks too. 17 missed tackles, according to Pro Football Focus. That's too many.
That's way too
Only got pressure on 8 dropbacks on 30 pass attempts.
That pocket just looked crisp and clean.
1 sack.
Yeah.
That's not going to get it done. A rookie quarterback, a young guy like that, you have to confuse. You have to give different looks, make him uncomfortable.
Different blitz packages.
Something different.
Yeah.
Maybe they tried it. If they did, it didn't look like it because Brock Purdy handled it all like a champ. And if his game just has to be hand the ball off to Christian McCaffrey, swing it to McCaffrey, hit Debo over the middle, and let those guys create the yards after catch.
Yeah.
Add that on top of a defense that's been top 10 in the NFL for a while now. It's a very dependable unit that does get after the passer.
Yeah.
That's the formula for San Francisco. There's not a hotter team in football right now.
I would have to agree. And I think many of the pundits would also say that they're one of the hottest teams that are out there. They're very dangerous. But here's what I think is dangerous too. Christian McCaffrey goes for 15 carries for 119 yards. That's sick. 8-yard average in a playoff game now. Let's
playoff game.
Where you know that one of the things you want to scheme for defensively is you want to make Brock Purdy beat you.
Yep.
Right? And Christian McCaffrey just opens up the floodgates and goes nuts. But then throw that in there. Debo Samuel's 3 for 32, a 10-yard average, which that's the crazy danger Shanahan and his group is able to implement. They're able to do all these different trick packages that can just kind of throw you off, right? Off kilter. But then he comes back and has 133 with 6 catches.
6.
I mean, this is crazy on 9 targets. And then Brandon Ayuk is no freaking slouch of his own. And so, I mean, they're dangerous. And they're not even really using Kittle. Like, Kittle is a danger in himself. And be prepared that he's going to get schemed into something really, really nice where his numbers can be good. That's what makes him dangerous. They can go any route on you, whether it be with the run or with the pass.
Right. The offense is definitely the bigger question mark for San Francisco. Even as well as Brock Purdy is playing, with a guy like Brock Purdy at quarterback, you're always going to have more questions about the quarterback situation.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Seattle hasn't been a great defense. They weren't a give up 41 points in many games this year defense. That was a clinic from Purdy.
Yeah.
From McCaffrey, from Samuel,
Getting
from
Bosa
Shanahan.
back was huge too.
Getting Bosa back,
because you have to scheme. You have to kind of either chip or you have to do something on that side to kind of keep an eye on him.
5 tackles, a tackle for loss, recovered a fumble
no sack
in the debut,
which he's had every game.
Right,
no sack this game, but still he was impactful.
Right,
had a fumble recovery.
You look at Bosa, you look at Dre Greenlaw, Fred
Oh,
Warner,
yeah.
guys are studs.
Oh yeah,
Lenoir, the cornerback, Hufanga, the All-Pro safety.
Yeah,
dudes at every level of that defense. And now, I don't want to call them the favorite. Philadelphia, if Jalen Hurts is healthy, looked better early. They picked it back up late. But, man, it's hard to bet against San Francisco because, again, Kyle Shanahan's been there. He's taken a backup quarterback to the Super Bowl. Did it with Jimmy G. He's done it before.
I would have to agree with you. Scott on the Sauter Heyman text line says, is there any NFL guarantee contracts? Not like you would have with baseball and basketball. It's not guaranteed. Your guarantee is your bonus, what they call your signing bonus. So when they say you have a $160 million contract and $45 million of it is guaranteed, the rest is salary, you could be cut in 2 years. And yeah, only the salary is lost, but you get to keep the 45 million or 25 million or whatever that is. So that is the guarantee, Scott.
And that's crazy to me. That the NFL
I think it's crazy.
guarantee.
They haven't adjusted that. Yeah. Especially with injuries and concussions and all the stuff that they have to endure and deal with. I agree with you.
Is that on the Players Association?
I have to agree. And I think it's one of the worst. I think the Players Association is one of the worst. I think their management and their, with Goodell and the stuff that they're able to do is probably one of the best. I think prior to Adam Silver taking over, I think the NBA was solid with David Stern. I thought they, he took it to a whole nother level with Stern. Baseball,
that's a game in a weird spot right now.
But their freaking money is
huge,
crazy.
Most money in pro sports.
Oh man,
which is insane because it's the least watched of them. And yet you have Mike Trout making $450 million. It's
crazy.
Guaranteed. Every penny of it going to him.
Crazy. Yeah. So yeah, that's that. Let's move on. Let's go down and check out the next grouping of games. You had the chart. Now this is one that we felt was interesting because you had Justin Herbert and you had Trevor Lawrence. Both of them were going to have their debuts, and one of them was going to come out victorious. So that was a good story in itself. First of all, of how the Jaguars managed to get there, and then after the Chargers fell off the wagon last year and came up short, it was good to see them both get there. Shout out to Etienne, staying in Florida and had a tremendous game in himself. 20 carries for 109. He was very impactful. But Trevor Lawrence, 4 INTs, anytime in a playoff. Listen, normally in a playoff, when you have 4 INTs, you go down 27-0, you're done. But he somehow was able to overcome it. What was your thoughts about Trevor Lawrence, his performance, and getting them back in the game? And big sack. Now, the big sack to go for 2 in one of those instances, have Joey Bosa kind of set it all up with the mistake. But then you have some missed calls and situations that you can understand the kind of reaction, but you got to kind of be calm in those situations. Go ahead, talk about it.
The thing about Trevor Lawrence is it's between the ears. We know the arm. We know he can move a little bit. But to respond from 4 interceptions tells me he's solid in the 6 inches between his ears. You have to be. Because this is a Jaguars franchise that doesn't have a lot of postseason success. And to go down 27-0.
Yeah.
You're the golden child. You're the chosen one. They took you first overall. You are that franchise.
For a reason, you're there.
Yes.
For this moment.
Right. And here's the moment. You're ready for it. You're hyped up. You won a big game last week to win the division. You're back in the playoffs. You get a home playoff game, and you throw a pick. And then another one.
You saw the look on his face.
Then another one.
Oh.
And
it just
got
seemed
worse
to get
for the
worse.
fourth.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
And then Getting those points right before halftime might have changed that game. If it's 27-0, that's a tough spot. 27-7. 3 possessions is 3 possessions, but it's not 4.
Right.
That, I think, was a little spark. And then, more so than Trevor Lawrence, more so than ETN, more so than Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, whoever. What are we doing, Chargers? This franchise, poverty franchise. Why are you, bridling Justin Herbert the way you are? We're holding him back. Plain and simple, you are. I know the Falcons are cursed. I know they have 28-3 in the flipping Super Bowl. If there was one franchise that was going to blow that game the way they did, it was the Chargers. And they did it in perfectly Chargers fashion.
But then you have to also consider what led up to this. You lose Williams, your best freaking receiver, because you decided in a game of no importance,
totally meaningless,
to play those guys, and now you lose one of your best freaking weapons. And going into this game to not have that, and then you have to look elsewhere. You have to start, you missed the scheming because now they don't have to, scheme for him.
Right.
So yeah, and you do everything just wrong in that game,
especially the second half. Yep. Yeah. Staley, it sounds like he's safe. He's got to make some changes. His first season, he was one of the best in the league, like being on that cutting edge of when to go for it. Even if it doesn't work out, what do the numbers tell us? What's the process here?
Yeah.
How do we play to win the game and put ourselves in position to succeed, more so than kind of rely on that conventional football logic, which has its time and place. But his first year, Staley comes in, looks like a disruptor. Hey, we're doing things a new way. He fell back into the same old traps.
Yeah.
Couldn't get his team back up off the mat. They punched first. Jacksonville stood back up. Once Jacksonville got that second punch in to make that a close game, kind of like Nebraska football, you could see the Chargers just clench up.
Right.
They were tight. They know the history of that franchise. In that moment, some of that's on Justin Herbert to be the guy and take over. Say, hey, this is my moment. This is far enough. We're taking this game back over. We're good. Some of that's on the coaching staff to put him in position to use his talents to do so.
Yeah.
Brandon Staley didn't help his quarterback out.
Yeah.
I would also credit Jacksonville. 13 carries, 35 yards for Austin Eckler, and 2 catches for 8 yards. Yeah, he scored 2 touchdowns, which is big, but if you limit him to 43 total yards, that's a win.
I mean, where he's in the category with Tomlinson and Marshall Faulk, and just he's in that category of touchdowns and from both carry and catch. So yeah, no, that's tremendous. And listen, they paid him a bag. Forsay Oliakun. Yeah, they paid him a bag and they got everything out of him. 8 solos, 13 total tackles, and 1 QB hit. They've got the most out of that, out of him on the defensive side as well. So yeah, man, that was a great game. I loved watching it. It kept me interested throughout the whole game. I think I might have turned it off and came back to it and was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So yeah, that was one of those ones.
The other thing I would say too is Doug Peterson's decision to go for 2.
Oh yeah,
is exactly the call that needed to be made at that moment.
Yeah.
That way, that a field goal can win you the game if you get that 2-point conversion. Otherwise, you need a touchdown. Why not give yourself a chance to win with a field goal? If you kick the extra point, you need a touchdown anyways. You get the 2, you win it with the field goal. It's a simple call that so many NFL coaches, I think, would have been scared to make.
I agree. Let's move on, because this one right here, the Bills against the Dolphins. Everybody and their mama, I mean, I think there was 13-point underdogs, the Dolphins. Everybody thought without, with they had a third string as well. You look at that situation and you just think that Josh Allen's going to dominate, and he did. I mean, 23 for 39, 352, 3 TDs, but it was still a struggle. It was still a fight. The defense gave up in the second half 17 points, so you had that trouble going and brewing. Stephon Diggs does what he does. He's a 100-yard receiving guy for them. But at the end of the day, they find themselves in a tight one. How did you view this? And was this an unexpected, Skylar Thompson to be able to lead this team, even though he didn't have a great game, so to speak, but they were still in the game? How does this happen? How does it even they find himself in this game?
He gutted it out. Plain and simple, he did. He put the ball where his receivers could catch it. There's a stretch of just brutal drops.
Yeah.
I don't know if any single one of them changes the game, but add them up, mean, he was 18 of 45 or 18 of 44. So not a great completion percentage, but if you get, half of those caught, you're right about 50. Again, still not great, but there were some deep balls down the field that those receivers dropped. Skylar Thompson put his guys in position to make plays. 2 picks, not good, not great. I was more disappointed in Josh Allen. I really was. He has the counting stats, 350 yards, good. 3 touchdowns, good. He was sacked 7 times. He also threw 2 picks. He also lost a fumble. That was the way Miami was going to stay in that game, was by causing havoc and getting turnovers.
Mucking it up.
Yes. When Buffalo stopped turning the ball over, they were fine.
They were good. So you have 2 interceptions and you have 4 fumbles that you were lucky to get a couple of recoveries out of, where you only lose one of those 4. That in itself saves you.
Absolutely, it does. So the hope, if you're a Buffalo fan, is that this is very similar to what the Ohio State game was for Georgia.
Yeah.
You go up big. I know Georgia didn't go up big. A little different game script, but you find a way to get out a win that was ugly. You were the better team all year long. You proved it. Someone came in, nothing to lose, everything to gain, gave you their best shot. You withstood it. Now's the biggest game of the year for Buffalo. I don't care if they make it to the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl. This divisional round game is the biggest game of the year because, to me, it determines their season. Obviously, if they lose, it's done. But if they win and look good, that tells me that that's a group that is talented. We know that. They were one of the preseason, betting favorites to make it to the Super Bowl, if not win it. So we know the talent's there. But if that talent can respond to this Miami game, especially Josh Allen at quarterback, and say that wasn't good enough, we got lucky, and move forward with it with a pretty good showing against a hot Cincinnati team, that'll tell me everything I need to know about Buffalo.
Yeah, Cincinnati's a little struggle in itself, and they're still having problems on their line, and they've got to address that this offseason. It's a major issue for them, with your best quarterback being sacked as much as he's being sacked, that you've got to take care of that problem ASAP, because this is also another situation where you have Huntley as your quarterback. You don't have Lamar Jackson. You didn't, have to overly worry yourself about the legs that Lamar Jackson has and the capabilities of blowing a game open. But I think if they probably had him, they might have clipped the Bengals in this game. They end up with a 24-17 win. J.K. Dobbins coming back was pretty solid for them. It really probably helped out Huntley a little bit more than what you probably would have expected, but they were able to get it done. I think it was pretty understood that they would probably win. I thought that maybe you would get a 10-point win, maybe a 13, but I didn't think it would be this close, and they were able to keep it and pull it out.
Again, Baltimore led at the half. Not great clock management. Justin Tucker able to bang that last field goal through to give them the lead at the half. Does J.K. Dobbins have a point? I know he just came back, from that week off, he's back playing. 13 carries, 62 yards. Do you trust Tyler Huntley with the ball that gets returned, 98 yards for a touchdown? Do you give J.K. Dobbins a crack? He didn't get one. And then that other long series, J.K. Dobbins didn't touch the ball. If he's one of your best playmakers, an offense that doesn't have a lot of them, especially with Lamar Jackson out, J.K. Dobbins has got to touch the ball.
Facts.
That was their path to victory. Again, mucking it up, which they did, playing in the mud, hitting Joe Burrow plenty of times like they did. That was Baltimore's path. Now, it shouldn't have been the death knell, right? Yes, that fumble return for a touchdown put Cincinnati up. There's still almost 12 minutes to go in that game. That shouldn't have been it. But again, that tells me everything I need to know about who Tyler Huntley is and what he can do. Maybe he's fine in the regular season, but when it comes down to it and you need that big drive, that response, either credit Cincinnati's defense for stepping back up or Tyler Huntley isn't it. And that proves Lamar Jackson's importance.
Exactly. So, I mean, could Lamar Jackson, just a quick question, could Lamar Jackson use this to be able to leverage?
How would he not?
Right.
How would he not? I think they're winning like 65 or 70% of the games that Lamar Jackson starts. When he doesn't play, they're winning like 30%.
Yeah.
That's a noticeable
difference.
Significant difference. That's a league MVP.
Because who can you go out there and get that could come in? Because you would have to totally revamp your offense. Everything. If you don't secure him. Absolutely. Let's continue on. Next, real quick off the text line, texter Greg and Lincoln says, how about Cousins' look on his face after throwing a 3-yard pass on a 4th and 8? Yes, I think the look on his face was sickening, but at the same time, you've got to, this is one thing that we talked about. You've got to allow the freaking referees to make a decision. You've got to toss that ball. You've got one of the best receivers. I don't care if he's double covered. I'm trying to thread the needle. I'm waving him for a comeback. I'm doing anything to just get him
a shot.
chance. I would much rather do that than, your chances of getting a 3rd and 8 if you're sitting in a zone or anything like that. Just try to create as much time as possible. Find a pocket. You've got to do something. You cannot throw that ball short in that situation. You're done.
Give your guy a chance and give your team a chance. I know
Yeah.
TJ Hawkinson's a big dude, but so's the linebacker covering him. Handled it no problem. If you have TJ Hawkinson with a step or two on his guy and you want to try to trust him to break a tackle, throw it to him 3 yards and then go from there, okay, that's defensible. TJ Hawkinson didn't have a full head of steam, didn't have momentum, and the guy was right there on him.
Yeah.
That play had zero chance.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple, Strick. The reason you pay a guy like Justin Jefferson after you draft a guy like Justin Jefferson is to get him the ball. I know he had 7 catches, 47 yards, not nearly as explosive as he was the first matchup against the Giants. Studs win games.
DK Metcalf.
You 10
you
catches,
knew he was going to be,
yards.
Nice stuff like that. You gotta give him the freaking rock.
Against a better defense.
Facts.
San Francisco's defense is better than New York's.
Facts.
That's a shortcoming, I think, for Minnesota's offensive staff to not find a way or go to their best play to get their best player the ball.
Yeah.
All that being said, the defense is in trouble. That Minnesota defense is in trouble. Hot knife through butter. Daniel Jones, who had his his 5th-year rookie option declined. The Giants said, "No, we don't believe in him, but we need to see more."
Yeah.
Daniel Jones stepped up to the plate. Their first playoff win since 2011. Throws for 300 yards, rushes for 78 more.
That's the one that kept him kept him alive early. The rushing with his legs. Yeah, he had to be tired because they were like back to back to back. He looked like Lamar Jackson out there for part of the game. Go ahead.
Yeah. He almost doubled up Saquon Barkley in carries, but again, that saved Saquon Barkley's legs. Guy who's had injuries before, who was the franchise before Daniel Jones got there. Daniel Jones is not Lamar Jackson. No. They're similar but different. Danny Dimes is getting paid. Plain and simple. He won a playoff game. Locker room seems to like him. He's stuck with it. Dable and Kafka seem like they have good heads on their shoulders, know how to work with him. Get him a receiver to pair with Saquon Barkley. I mean, that touchdown run Saquon had to cap off that first long drive. That looked like old Saquon with the moves and the explosiveness. Pair a top-tier receiver with that Saquon Barkley with an improved defense, still not great, but improved, and that version of Daniel Jones, that's a contender.
Yeah. Who do you in this matchup tonight? Step 15, ESPN, ABC, and ESPN Plus. It's going down. Tom Brady doing what Tom Brady can do to even just get him there. It's tight. It's going to be tough, but they've got a home game. And so the Cowboys are going to be coming off of a debacle of a game against the Commanders to finish off the season. But what are you looking for in this game? What are you hoping to see? What do you think you're going to see?
What I'm hoping to see is a Dallas win and kick Tom Brady somewhere else. Make that, again, I'm not a Tom Brady fan. I've grown to respect him more than I did, but Tom Brady has personally victimized me far too often for me to want him to be happy. So I'm pulling for Dallas tonight. I don't know how confident I am in it because that defense is still solid for Tampa Bay. Still gets after the passer.
Yeah.
Dak hasn't been good recently. He's got to find some way to turn it back on, to get back going. If he can't do that, he's going to be in for a long night. And then can Dallas's defense step up to the plate and answer? Sounds like Ryan Jensen was activated, Tom Brady's center. That could
not
be
many
big for
sacks
that
on
line.
Tom Brady this year, so that's good.
Can you still get the ball out quick?
Mm-hmm.
Dallas by 3 is an interesting line. I see it within that kind of range. I think it's close. I think it's back and forth. The ESPN matchup predictor says Dallas has a 67% chance to win the game. That's too high.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the most coin flip games of this postseason. We saw the 4-5 in the AFC, Chargers, Jaguars. I don't think either team gets out to a 27-0 lead. I wouldn't be shocked to see another 1-point game. I'm pulling for Dallas. Hard to bet against Brady at home, though.
See, that's how I feel about it, too. It's kind of up in the air for me. I'm looking forward to watching this game this evening at 7:15 is going to be the kickoff for this game there at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay. But we've got to take a break right now. And we're going to come back and talk a little bit about the possibilities, some of the rumors and the speculation that's out there with regard to Tom Brady and possibly what's next for him. We're going to come back and talk about it on the block right here, 93.7 The Ticket, right after this break.
Joint pain can affect your quality of life and even be debilitating. Perhaps you've had trouble walking or even performing activities as simple as sitting down and standing up for years. There is good news thanks to QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics can assist with all types of pain in the knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints, whether due to an underlying chronic condition or a recent or even former accident or sports injury. Call QC Kinetics in Lincoln today at 402-205-4270 or go to qckinetics.com.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Tractor Supply is looking for full-time team members for their Waverly Distribution Center. Tractor Supply has a new progressive pay model where team members receive 5 wage increases in the first 2 years of employment, ability to earn up to $24 per hour. Applicants can expect a 3- and 4-day work week schedule with additional overtime days with both day and night shift schedules available. At Tractor Supply, work hard, have fun, and make money. Apply today at tractorsupply.jobs.
The Ticket Water Cooler.
Walter Rouse committing to Oklahoma just days after committing to Nebraska. This was one that particularly hurts me because I completely bought in. I was like, this is the best transfer portal edition.
Yeah, that one's a lot more than really any other because it gave you hope.
We'll just have to learn our lessons. There are no losses, just lessons. And as a Husker football fandom, we're just going to have to learn from this one. Maybe not to get too excited from the transfer portal. Another news, great news out of the transfer portal. Has arrived to Nebraska.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 7-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is transitioning to 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back on the block. Me and Austin here, 2 to 4 every day. Thank you for all the listeners that are there on the Sutter Heyman text line. We appreciate you guys for also tapping in, giving us some insight as well on things that you may have heard, hearing, or just even, talk about something we may be talking about. Honda Lincoln Hotline is going to be open because this may be one that you may want to have a discussion about, call in and talk about. You're welcome to do that as well. We are also thankful for those who are listening to the stream, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. We appreciate you guys and your support. Continue to hit that like button. Also smash the notifications to just let get insight as to when we're popping up and we're on the block, and you can get on the block as well. So let's talk about it real quick. They're playing tonight, but there's some NFL rumors out there, and we want to just kind of talk about them and the possibilities. And maybe some of you guys on the Sutter Heyman text line at 402-464-5685 would have an idea of whether this should be a retirement moment or this should be one to consider, or is there a team out there that would have interest in Tom Brady, who is still getting it done, almost 4,500 yards at 40. What is Tom now? 45?
Yeah,
46?
We'll be 46.
So yeah, 46. He'll be 46. And so what it remains to be seen is, will he return for his 24th season?
He's been playing football as long as I've been alive, Strick.
Listen, man, 24 seasons. So look, I talked about it before, and some people maybe didn't like it, and I'm just only speaking from a standpoint of guys that had chips on their shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
They get bad taste in their mouth if it ends in a certain way, i.e. your Michael Jordan, i.e. your Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's, that just wanted to just stay the course. There's others out there that we could talk about. Shoot, as long as Gretzky played, they just freaking got chips on their shoulders, and they're like, shoot, as long as I can continue to do it, I love it. But coming off a divorce, yes,
a retirement already.
You know what I mean? All that stuff is looming. You've already been through it. But listen, one of the greatest things about this man that he has, just laying in wait is, in May he signed a 10-year deal for $375 million to join Fox. Like, me personally, I look at coaching, and I look at all these other. Look, if you're going to pay me that to sit in a booth and have a conversation with you about the thing that I love, I might be okay with that.
I'll listen. You got my ear.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is the one thing. But let's talk about it. What are some of the possibilities? What are some of the options that would possibly be out there for Tom Brady if he decided? I'm sure the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would love to keep him, but at the same time, I think staying in Tampa is going to be predicated on how long this run is for him and what it can look like in the conversations of bringing people into the team.
It's fascinating for me to think too about Tom Brady, the competitor that we've known his whole career, but is that who Tom Brady is now? It feels like something has changed with Tom Brady. If he was going to, go out on top, go out his way, it would have been after they won that Super Bowl. But then again, you get that taste. Hey, I still got it. Hey, we just won a Super Bowl. We can't go out on that. We can't finish on a win. Let's run it back next year. Get another one. And then you give the Rams a heck of a run in that game. Fall just short with Stafford,
injuries
and
not having your full strength. That's crazy.
Right.
But go ahead.
So you give the Rams a run there. You're like, okay, good season, but man, we just got the Super Bowl last season. I got to come back for one more. So few players in general, but especially so few legends, get to write the script for their send-off. Tom Brady had that opportunity and he lost it.
Mm-hmm.
He could have walked away after the Super Bowl. I can't imagine how difficult that would have been to walk away at that point. But if Tom Brady wanted to go out on a high note, that was his best chance. Now he's even older. The guys that he's playing with are even older, still breaking down, still injured on both sides of the ball. You can't control injuries and how that happens. And that's what I think Tom Brady likes, is that control, knowing who's around him, knowing he has guys he can trust. And maybe he can trust those guys, but if they're injured, they're not out on the field with him. So what good, are they for each other if one or the other can't play? My gut would tell me that Tom Brady should be done, but I also don't think Tom Brady will be done.
Great point. Now let's talk about some of the rumors that are out there potentially. Obviously, he has some connections because we now know that he's been through every gate possible with football. Deflate gate, cheat gate, all kinds of gates, right? But this one is one of the ones where it sounds as if it's very possible that he may not have been in Tampa Bay, looking down south, a little bit down south 95
on a beach,
somewhere. And it looked like there was some discussions with that. That could be a possibility, but I don't think so. I think Tua even with all the protocols that are over him, he's looking to return in 2023. So
and he proved with this system that he can be a guy.
That he could be that guy, right? Great connection with Tyreek Hill
and Waddle.
And they've got great weapons coming back, still in some of their youth. Okay. One of the other ones that you might look at could possibly be who we're talking about on the Sutter Heyman text line is Cupsker as well as Bird in Columbus. They say Raider Nation. Cupsker says Brady comes back next year. He'll be in Vegas with the Raiders. I think that David Carr has run his timetable there. His time is elapsed, I think, with regards to that. You want to keep Devontae Adams happy. What would be a better way of doing that than possibly bringing in that and giving Tom Brady that kind of number one option? Whew.
Mike Evans is good. Devontae Adams better right now.
There's no question about it, right?
Yeah.
So you look at that.
And the familiarity with McDaniels.
If there you go. Around. If he sticks around. So you've got that as a potential option. Others would be people in San Francisco would be interesting.
Fascinating.
But here's the deal. Why would you want to pay a bag? Now, Brady has a way of lessening his amounts to get the type of players that he wants, but still he's going to require a bag.
He's done it before. He did it in New England for all those years, but then he left New England because he finally said, okay, it's time for me to get mine. New England said, no, sorry.
Yeah.
So that's why he left.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got that as an option, but listen, if you have an opportunity to land a guy that can lead you with what you got, has legs, and he's young, and he's under a contract, a rookie contract that is minute. Think of all the players you can go get with a Brock Purdy contract, as opposed to
a Tom Brady contract.
There you go.
And
that's an intriguing one for me.
They have a lot of them under contract already.
Yeah.
But it's always time to pay someone in the NFL. There are always contracts, up, guys that are up for them. And again, San Francisco hasn't been built on one guy.
Right.
It hasn't been. It's been that team ethos. The how do we work together, become more than the sum of our parts.
Absolutely.
And getting Brady, as cool a story as that would be for Brady to go back home, play for his childhood team, go out like that. I'm sure Shanahan would, scheme up some good stuff for him like he has. But how much of Shanahan's playbook is rolling out, is bootleg? Does Brady have those legs to do that for a 17-game regular season? And maybe the playoffs? I don't think so either.
In the
Does
pocket.
he have the arm to make some of those deep throws? You have to at least threaten the vertical game. Brock Purdy doesn't have the world's best arm. He can at least threaten it. At least as good, if not better, than Tom Brady does. And like you said, the cap space.
Yeah.
Not only the cap dollars, but think about what San Francisco gave up to get Trey Lance. That draft capital. What they gave up to get Christian McCaffrey. That bill's going to come due, kind of like it did for the Rams. So if you want to maximize your window, my guess is you have to try to find someone that's in between Brock Purdy and Tom Brady, if possible.
Yeah. And then, so you look at that, and then another option would be possibly the Tennessee Titans, who have huge quarterback questions that is out there. Still a solid team. You still got Henry. You still got some good options there. But
if I'm Brady, that's the least
there you go.
Appealing option, because who do they have at receiver? They just traded AJ Brown away. They don't have they don't have a frontline guy. I know that a good run game can take some pressure off a quarterback, but if I'm Tom Brady and I'm going to go to Tennessee, again, weak division, kind of like the NFC South that he just won, the AFC South would be. But if I don't have a number one receiver and I'm Tom Brady, there's no way I'm going.
No way I'll come back.
I know what I'm around for. It's to get the ball to a dude. And Tom Brady spent his whole career making dudes look better than they probably actually are. But again, he's going to play next season at 46 if he decides to come back. He needs a top flight wide receiver to take some of that pressure off of it.
Facts. True facts. Sutter Heyman text line once again is open. Thank you guys. Augie says Brady will go to Vegas and make Derek Carr look like an MVP. Augie doesn't have much confidence in that, but that's okay. Last thing. Does Brady get it done tonight? No running game.
No.
Hasn't all year been on par with Evans or anybody. So, I mean, he still had a successful year, but he's just freaking made it happen. The best thing is that has happened for him. He's had protection. He hasn't been hit. So that's the best thing he has looking for him. But what do they do?
Who sucks less tonight, Brady or Prescott? Is kind of what it comes down to.
Right.
Again, there's so much else going on around those guys. It shouldn't just come down to them. But Brady's old. Father time comes for everyone. Dallas's defense is still good. How do they respond after getting punched in the mouth a little bit? And then Dak Prescott going up against the best defense he's seen in a few weeks. I know they played Philly not too long ago, but this Tampa Bay defense is still better than the Commanders' defense. They got embarrassed by that. One of these guys has to step up and lead their team. I want it to
Who do
be
you
Dak.
trust more?
I still trust Brady more. He still has a track record. As old as he is, as much smack as I want to talk about him, it being a home game, I will begrudgingly pick the Bucs to win it.
Well, that says that. That settles that. Thank you guys once again for tapping in on the Sutter Heyman text line. We do appreciate that. And what we will say is we got a break. DP and the old school crew will be joining us on a crossover as soon as we come back. 93.7 The Ticket. We are on the block. We'll be right back in a few minutes with the old school crew. Peace.
You know, the year has been a great year for Aspen Builders. We have had many repeat customers, and we worked with a lot of new people building their dream home.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, and they've built neighborhoods in and around Lincoln for over 25 years.
It's amazing when you go through the building process. Okay, what do I need in this home? I need the 4 bedrooms. I need the walkout basement, or I need the big yard. It's fun to find that perfect lot, design the home, get everything that we need, and then we add those want things. We add the gourmet kitchen. We add the big walk-in pantry. What we try to do is balance a budget with things that you really need in the home. Get items included in this home that you won't find just in any home anymore. So in the end, you've got the perfect place.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
What are you doing, Sip?
I thought the chickens could use some more light in their lives.
So you're building exactly?
It's a motion censored switchboard. Duh.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Of course. Ow! God! Ow!
Seems like a job for a professional.
Just one more wire. Yep, there you go, right there.
Don't be like Sip. Call Joe at Ambition Electric for any of your electric needs at 402-217-3415.
And assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock, or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Here's the real question. Was we portrayed by Rouse? By him saying all of that stuff and, got haters. And that's what he said.
He came in loud.
We got doubters. We got haters.
Yeah, like he's part of Nebraska.
That's what he said, Terrell. Here's my question. What happened? That to me is a gutless turd movie. So you don't come in talking about, Terrell, we about to put it, we doing this. Oh, by the way, I'm going to Oklahoma. Go to your arch enemy.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit. And you can check out our spaces before you visit in person with a virtual campus tour. An opportunity to see our campuses in Beatrice, Lincoln, and Milford as you learn about our programs and areas of study. There are virtual tours of our learning centers too. We can even take you on a personalized virtual tour. Learn more on our website, southeast.edu/visit-SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Welcome back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wrapping up on the block here on a Monday. Hope you all had a great weekend. I'm Austin Norman. He's Eric Strickland. We are joined now by the old school crew, DP and J, here in the building as we wrap up here on the block. Super wild card weekend. Mostly in the books. We got one game tonight, the 4-5 in the NFC. It's Dallas, it's Tampa Bay. DP and J.
Austin, before you jump off, man, we got a tight one here. Purdue and Michigan State getting after it. Ball just got knocked out. I think it's going to be about 1 second left. They got saved by a knockout. Now the ball's in the front court. They've got a chance with 1 second to get a great play drawn up, and they're getting a timeout for free because
you're reviewing it.
The review. This is good. This could be crazy, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Keep your eyes on it. Great stuff going on Big Ten Plus.
2:30 game
on Fox,
MLK,
actually.
Yeah, on MLK Day. All good.
Go ahead.
Yeah, super wild card weekend. Prescott and Brady. Which quarterback do you trust more right now?
This playoff game, 7:15 tonight.
Oh, I trust Brady, but I think Cowboys will win though.
Tell me why. Because
The
they
Bucs-
haven't lost. They haven't beat Brady yet.
Yeah, and Dan Quinn hasn't. I didn't know. I was listening. Rex Ryan has a horrible record against Brady. Dan Quinn is even worse. I just think the Bucs. I know they're they're healthier now. They're getting Ryan Jensen back, and that's huge for them because he's a centerpiece, and both their tackles are healthier now because they held him out last week. I just feel that Leonard Fournette isn't the Leonard Fournette of a couple years ago, and he isn't even the Leonard Fournette of the beginning of the season. He looks heavier now. And to be honest with you, their second level, their defense, even though the linebackers are, I still would like if I had
White
to,
and David.
Yeah, if I had to say, hey, look, these are the two dudes that I'm going to roll with, I still would pick them. They haven't played well this year. I know Devin White had some, obviously some personal issues. So that's, it's just some other stuff going around. Losing the House of Spears or not bringing back the House of Spears, I think hurt them. And then Shaq Barrett getting hurt just hurt their whole team because he is a problem rushing the passer, tore his Achilles late in the game. Then with having House of Spears there with big fella Vay really let them really roam clean. They just looked off all year. And Dallas has one of the fastest teams in the league, both offense and defensively. They haven't played well defensively in the last 6, 7 weeks. I think Tampa Bay's offensive line is probably ripe for the picking.
I would say this. First of all, I never give shout outs to the evil empire.
But you see, I didn't really
Right.
give them it. It's just
right.
They got a good draw.
If they said to me before last week whether I would pick Dallas over Tampa, the answer would have been one way. But watching Dallas against Washington was the playbook for how Tampa beats them. One, on the road, they'll thin out the playbook a little bit, letting Fournette do the things that he does well, which is basically putting him on the side, lining him up outside of Parsons and making Parsons have to make a decision.
Yeah, and the pass pro.
Right,
Yeah,
make him make a decision.
Because he'll look him up.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, is he going to run with him or is he going to try to get in that space? Their ability to run the ball and watching that Cowboys front seven get pushed around in Washington.
Yeah.
With no real answers to how they were going to fill space. Like their fills were terrible. And then the debate, the sideline and locker room debate that happened in DC, where CeeDee Lamb, Dak, Pollard, Zeke couldn't answer questions about who the focus of the offense should be, and why. And if you walked into a situation where you would got some benefit of beating a Washington team that didn't have a reason to play other than to upset you, what happens when you go on national TV against the GOAT and the coach knows that his job is in question? So that means the decision-making process is highly vetted and deeply investigated. McCarthy doesn't want to work that way. He doesn't work well that way.
No.
Kellen Moore.
That's the Mark Whipple.
Yeah.
Is he going to coach in the sense of being all in with McCarthy coming back next year? Because I think the biggest problem with Dallas's offense, even though Zeke isn't the Zeke of 3 or 4 years ago, Zeke's still a quality back, right? Does he have the breakaway speed that he has and that he used to? No, nobody. But that's what Pollard's for, right? But Kellen Moore, when you have an offensive coordinator that calls plays as resume builder for a head coaching job,
Watch this.
You get into games like this. If the game is tight, subconsciously, it's like a guy that knows he should be driving to the hoop, but all he wants to do is shoot threes. He's a 25% shooting threes. What's he going to do under pressure? Jack up a three unnecessary.
That's
easy. Oh, I got all these toys. Watch me outsmart him.
Well, watch this.
Watch this.
And here's what happens when you play against greatness in the big time and the lights are bright. That you outcoach yourself.
Yep. You can outthink yourself.
Right? That okay, Brady's gonna do this, so I can't give Brady the ball under 4 minutes in the first half. I can't do that. So the play calling changes. I can't give Brady the ball at the 50-yard line, so I can't take a chance on a 4th and 1 when I would normally figure I've got to play my playbook that can give me that 4th and 1. It'll change the way they play calls against Brady late in the ball game.
And
right?
It changes the defensive coordinator
right.
as well.
And the rotation changes because now you need to get pressure on coming out of what they're comfortable in doing versus what would work better against Brady, which is Parsons constantly chasing Brady. Well, they're going to get cute defensively and try to put Parsons in that space because Fournette's just going to fade out and he's going to, as you like to say, death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah.
Fournette for 4, Fournette for 3, Fournette for 5, sitting right in that pocket behind Parsons. So what would the Cowboys do? Instead of just continue to send in Parsons so Brady will just not think about it, they're going to play with him. And that's where the issue concerns me. That's where I think Dallas is going to end up hurting themselves. Look, it'll come down. We know it come down to the last drive. Whoever has the ball last. If you're a Tampa fan, you're just going, Brady will bail us out at home on national TV, right? The announcers will set it up. They'll tell the narrative the entire game. Oh, this will be fantastic. Will this be the end of Brady or another legacy thing?
As long as
right?
Tony Romo ain't calling the game, it's all good. Tony Romo calling that Buffalo game is like, dude, I want to punch you dead in your face. Like, you talking about, is this the end? And it's 5 minutes left in the game. Yeah. The last 2 minutes of a playoff of an NFL game is long.
It's its own quarter.
The last 2 minutes of a playoff game is like forever. You just looking up there.
Well, they did it in Baltimore. They did it in the Baltimore game. I was like, wait a minute.
Three
seconds. Get the ball back.
Right. There's 10 seconds and 3 plays have been ran. And if you're on defense, you want that clock to go. Offense is like, oh, yeah, we got you. I think really if I'm Tampa, Rachaad White is going to pay huge. It's the running back number 29. He runs just like Eric Dickerson, but he's a great out of the backfield, player. Which I think that's Micah Parsons right now, kryptonite. He wants to go kill you, wreak havoc, find a way, whether it's motion or flipping formation, to where he goes from blitzer coverage. Make him do something that he doesn't want to do. Now, you can do that by doing what I just said, or coming out and say, you know what, where Tampa's really been good this year, take the Carolina game out, but where Tom Brady's kind of brought him back, it's 2-minute offense. Let's wear you out. Let's just short, 3 yards, cloud of the dust, boom, 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 get you thinking. Get those defensive linemen that like the backups that like to come in and pass rush. Well, defensive linemen don't like the pass rush and then go chase the ball. Then when we wear you out, here comes playoff Lenny.
When you see Great and Fournette on the same side of the offense against Parsons, that's when I think that's how.
Well, that's for protection.
Yeah,
and Fournette can catch out of the backfield, but I want to make Micah Parsons irrelevant.
Coverage.
Yeah. I want to make him irrelevant. I want to say, I want Micah Parsons to have 8 to 10 tackles. That means you're in coverage. I don't want him to have 3 tackles, 2 sacks,
and a fumble.
And just obliterate everything.
Yeah.
You do that, and then the pressure goes back to the offense. And guess where that pressure also goes to? the head coach.
Yeah.
And DP's right. When you sense that somebody's job is on the line, it just goes through the whole locker room. You start looking around. Like, why you call that? This, and this. Why you call, and the perfect opposite example is Staley from the Chargers against Jaguars. He's the new version of a coach. Just 5 or 6 years ago, I was reading, he was a defensive coordinator at D3 school, right? 5 or 6 years ago. I mean, that's pretty much like me going to be, and he's a great defensive mind. I like him as a leader, but then the Chargers brought in this analytics thing, and that might work in baseball. Barkley doesn't believe it works in basketball. I'm a firm believer it doesn't work in football because of the emotion of the game, momentum. You know this. Basketball the same way. There's not a computer program for that. So as you see a team
feeling it,
okay, we're up 20. Okay, we're up 27-10. Okay, well, we need to go for it on fourth down. If you want another example of college football, the onside kick, first game of the season. In your mind, I'm thinking, I want to put the dagger in the heart. There's still 2 quarters left.
Yeah.
You know what we need to do? Get the ball back and then obliterate them. This the easy way.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes you can see it. So it's going to come down to a chess match, but the worst thing Dallas can do is let that bad boy be close.
Real quick, station ID, and we'll come back and close out and allow the old school crew to make it happen.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
We're going to give you guys a great amount of space to do your thing, what you guys do on the old school show. What are you guys going to be jumping into?
Well, I mean, tonight's big. Yesterday was big. It's a big weekend.
Yeah.
Lots to talk about when it comes to transfer portal and in and out and how business is being done. There's
has anybody heard from Jake Sorensen? Is anybody out there?
No sightings.
I tried to call my friends out there in Hawaii, man, and they're on the lookout for him. They're gonna give him a luau. I'll try to give him, invite him to a cookout. Well, my man is in Hawaii feeling bad, man.
Yeah, he's not feeling really good right now. But old school is going to tap in all of those discussions, especially about this NFL weekend, and a little bit more. DP and J, the next voices that you'll hear on the other side of these commercials. East Drink, Austin Orman, we're on the block. 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. We out of here. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Hey guys, this is Lindsay Teal from Nebraska Golf Team. Imagine golfing the best course. Andrews, Pebble